Okay, we're going to build a research paper. They say creating a document, title page, list, tables, and a watermark. Essentially, we're doing a proposal. In this case, I shouldn't say a research paper, but a proposal. In this case, a sales proposal for an employee retreat center. And in the process, we're going to learn about like cover pages, character effects, expanded spacing, multi-level lists, creating a watermark, things like that. All right. And what you will need for this demo lesson is I'm going to start here from the Word Chapter 4 start file, which has a lot of the text already in it. And you will also find various other supplemental documents and a picture that you will need to complete this demo along with me. Again, I just want to caution you about just watching the video and just thinking you understand. The intention of the video is for you to have it open and work along with me as we go through the lesson. If you just watch the video and just try to absorb it without the actual keystrokes and doing it yourself, you're missing out on a lot of your learning. Okay, so two things again when you open up a document, and that is to make sure again your marks are turned on, and on your view tab make sure your ruler is turned on. It's also helpful if you have a copy of the PowerPoint slides printout that I'm using as my loose instructional file, so to kind of follow along with the demo as I move along here, not only to work along with me, but to have that handout available. And I'm already on to page 2. Okay. And it says verify that the insertion point is at the beginning of the document, which it is. And I'm going to come up here to my insert tab. And again, I'm working from Office 2016, so things may look a little different than the Office 2019 version you may be seeing. And also, if you're on remote access or actually at school, you will have access to these supplemental files and the start file on the shared folder under Classes, Mr. Reardon, Microsoft Office Applications, Word Chapters, Word Chapter 4 Files, and Demo. So I'm going to insert. Insert is the name of the game up here. I'm going to insert a cover page up here. And there we go. Scroll down through my selections. And here comes the retrospect cover page. Again, there's a bunch of different templates out there for cover pages you can use. Right now my view is at 100%. Yes, it is. I'm going to click on the document title like so. And we are going to type in from our handout, employee retreats. We would call that the document title control. For subtitles, we're going to type in recharge. And by the way, this is in all caps format. So even though you may be typing in lowercase, it's going to automatically capitalize that text. Okay. And it says scroll down to the author content information. Okay. And we're going to type in author name, Kara Bates. Let's spell that correctly. Comma, event coordinator, comma, 616-555-0122. And I'm thinking that's not her actual phone number, right? Okay, all right. And let's see here. Click on the company name. We're going to type in, by the way, this again is in all caps, Awakenings Lodge and Conference Center. And company address is 15683 Traverse Lane. Spell that right. Well, I got fumbled fingers, don't I? Reardon, are you getting like type correctly? What's your problem? I don't know. There we go. Conference name, Awakenings Lodge and Conference Center, 15683 Traverse Lane, Holland, MI 49424. I'm middle left, page 2, right now on my handout. Select the text to be formatted. That's my employee retreats. And again, if you're remembering how to format or select a line, either the left arrow left click and drag or triple click, which I'm going to do. And it says to bold it, also known as Control B. And it says we want to make that in all caps. I'm going to go up to my Home tab up here. I'm going to click on the Font dialog box launcher. I'm going to select the small caps so it's consistent with the rest of the text on the page. Okay. Also, by the way, before I click OK, I shouldn't say OK. Let's click on the Advanced tab. And what we're going to do here is we're going to spread our text out just a little bit. Now you can compress text or you can spread text. One thing I want to just warn you about though is like on my national board paper from years ago, it said do not use condensed spacing to try to get more space in your document. That won't work. Okay? So under Advanced, I'm going to come up here to Spacing, drop down arrow. And in 2019 it might say Character Spacing. I'm going to select Expanded. And right now it says 1 point, which would be a slight spreading of my text. I'm going to hit the up arrow here. If you, let's not do that. It's going to take forever, isn't it? Just drag my mouse pointer through that. I'm going to do 5-point expanded character spacing. Again, I'm taking my current text and spreading out the horizontal spacing of those letters. I'm going to click on OK. And see how the letters are spread out just a little bit, just kind of for emphasis, right? Okay. Scroll to display the page break notation. And let's see here. Where's my page break notation? Right here. It says to double click on it and delete. Well, that doesn't make any sense. What did we do that for? Who knows? I'm going to undo that. That looks too weird to me. Let's probably scroll down. Maybe I had, you think maybe I had the wrong page break notation? I think I did. Alright. I think they were talking about down here where it says team building activities. That's the page break. I'm going to double click on that and delete that. There we go. That's more like it. Alright. Thank you. Welcome back. Right, Reardon? Okay. So deleted that page break notation, and I'm on to page 3. Okay, we are formatting the first line in the document below the title page. The awakening is a place to recharge, reconnect, and renew. Okay, so I'm going to select that text, or it says to just put the insertion point in it, which I could do as well. Okay. And I'm going to apply the heading 1 style to that. Very nice. Okay. Make sure I'm using my diagram here. Okay. Click heading 2 style in the styles gallery to apply the selected style to the paragraph containing the insertion point, which is down here. Position the insertion point in the paragraph reformatted in the heading 2 style, in this case the line containing the text facility. Just going to left click on that, and we're going to call that heading 2 style, which is be like a sub style or a smaller style. Alright, and it says to put your mouse pointer in the selected text of Awakenings Lodge and so on, that text there. Okay, and what we want to do here is we want to slide this over because this is actually our body content of our document. So I'm going to click on the increase indent. And you'll see up here, you'll see your indent paragraph up there. And there's my indent right there, 1/2 inch. I didn't change my margin. I just indented it 1/2 inch. Increase the indent to 1/2. Okay. And let's see here. Selected text. Alright, we're going to go up to our Insert tab. And it says to go to Insert Header. Now, of course, I could have just double-clicked on that, but I want to actually insert a template. Now, when I say template, I'm talking about, think about when you drive around, you drive through like a school zone, and there on the pavement it says School Zone in white lettering. How'd that lettering get there? Well, when they painted it in white color. Yeah, I know that. But they had like a piece of plywood, right, with the letters cut out on the plywood. They slapped the plywood down. They ran a spray painter over it, put those letters painted down on the concrete, or the asphalt, I should say. Then they went to the next school and did the same thing. My point is they were reusing that piece of plywood to paint those letters over and over again, correct? Yes? Okay. So I'm going to use a template, something that I would use over and over again, or in this case, a pre-formatted part of my document. In this case, in the header, I'm going to come up here to my headers. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to find the retrospect header, which is this orange and blue thing. And that drops in here as a kind of, like I said, a pre-formatted format, if you like, what my document's going to look like. Okay, I'm going to click over here on the date control. Just click right on the edge of it so it's selected. Okay, and I'm going to hit the drop down arrow. I'm not going to hit the drop down arrow. I am going to click on those three dots up there. Let's see here. Looking for the, it says to use the shortcut menu. That's not coming up there. I'm just going to select that and hit delete. It might help if I follow directions. I need to right click on that content control and select remove content control so it goes away. Okay. It says then go to the footer button. Footer down here, over here. That's going to put something down at the bottom of my page. Okay. And for my footer, I'm going to use that same formatted style of retrospect to kind of match the header. That goes down to the bottom of my page, correct? And puts my footer down there, okay? And in this case, though, I want to make sure that I select different first page. It is selected, okay? So my first page, I may not want a header and footer on the first page on my cover page, or my cover page. But the rest of my document, I might probably want to have a header and a footer. This has the information, the author, and then the page number over here on the right. Okay? And by the way, the title or cover page is not included as part of your page numbering. Click the page number button. That would be up here. It says format page numbers. Click the numbering system 1 dash. So right now I got 1, 2, 3. I'm going to change that to drop down arrow to this 1 dash 1. That's got the dashes in between each page number. So it's a little bit expanded as far as my page number is concerned. And I'm going to start at page number 1, which is correct. Okay. And you can see now when let's scroll back down to my footer down here. You'll see I've got dash 1 dash, excuse me, down here for my page number as it's showing there. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to click back on my document. It says we need to go find the Choose Awakenings for your something or rather text, which they say is on page 3. Go back, double click back into my document. Now this is at the very end, and I think in our flyer we did in chapter 1 they called this the signature line. I'm just going to left click over here on to the left side to select that entire text like so, and there's my mini toolbar that pops up there, and it says we want to change our font to orange accent 2. Is that it? Yes, it is, for a little bit of emphasis. And it says we want to change our font size to 16 for a little bit larger. And then over here it says to change it to small caps. Now I don't believe I can do small caps from my mini toolbar. Like if I click on styles, no, I can't do that. I'm going to have to come up here to my font dialog box launcher in my font group on my home tab and change back to my font up here, and I'm going to select small caps. Again, kind of for emphasis there. Oh, excuse me, don't click OK again. I'm a little bit fast in the draw there. Back to my advanced tab, and again I want to use expanded character spacing here. By the way, this may be one of the more unusual or hard to remember concepts in this chapter is expanded character spacing. So for spacing, again, I'm going to say expanded, and I'm going to run my mouse pointer through that and call that 2. By the way, if you want to experiment with like condensed spacing and see what that looks like, I think some of the times if you get it too condensed, it can look very strange very quick. All right, and I'm going to click OK. All right, and let's go up. Let's save this document for now to our documents folder. You should just get in the habit of saving your work. I'm going to save it to my documents. And I'm going to call this sales proposal. And maybe just call it awakenings, just for laughs. That's what I'm going to call it. And by the way, when you work for a company, they have their own little protocol of how they want to save files, how folders are arranged, all those kind of things, because people in an office are sharing documents. So when you start in a new position, just be aware of that. Okay? You'll get the hang of it once you get into your job areas. Like I said, they have their own little culture on how they do things. Okay, below facility, I'm going to select this, all this text here from buildings down through grounds. I'm going to left click, whoops, hold on a second, get off that. Left click over in the left margin and select that text. Okay. And I'm going to hit my drop down arrow up here for bullets. And it's telling me to go find what we call the chevron, which is that little right pointing arrow right there, like so. Very nice. I'm going to go back to my bullets list again, drop down arrow, and I'm going to do define new bullet. And in this case, I'm going to go to my font button. So it's using the chevron, but I'm going to slightly change that. I'm going to go to my font button, and down here to my font color, I'm going to select that same orange accent 2 color to give my chevron a little emphasis. And again, your diagram will show you what that's looking to look like. And by the way, here where it says picture, you can insert a picture of your favorite sports team and make that your bullet, or a picture of your face and make that another bullet. Or you can go in and you can pull a word symbol into this, a wingding, a webding, some special symbol, a little diagram of a phone, I don't know. You can pull a symbol in and create a bullet out of that and do all kinds of fun stuff. Okay? And so there you go. Right now we want to indent that because right now we're out of line with our paragraph alignment up here. So I want to push this text over another 1/2 inch using my increase indent like so. Okay. And I want to also do a right indent, and I can just quickly do that by coming over here to my right indent, again with that text already selected, and I'm going to left click and hold and drag that right indent. See my ruler up there and the dotted line? I'm going to pull it back over so it's indented a 1/2 inch to the right. I'm on to page 5 here. Scroll to the heading Team Building Activities. That'd be down here. Okay. Click to the left of Team Building Activities. And it's saying it wants us to insert a page break at the location of the insertion point where team building activities will be on the last page of the proposal. So we want to get some, what we call this good white space. We want to get it kind of spread out. Insert and page break. You could also do Control Enter like we did with research papers in Chapter 2. to insert a manual page break. And now team building activities is on the last page of text. And you'll also see that we have the page break because we have our marks turned on. Page break notation showing right there. Okay, so insertion point, in this case, the blank line below team building activities. That will be down here. All right. And we're going to create a bulleted list. Are you ready for that? I am. All right, bulleted list. And we are going to select the, let's see here, on our home tab for our, I shouldn't say bulleted list. We're going to select multi-leveled list. That's over here in our paragraph group. We're going to have different layers of spacing. Okay. All right. Click the character format in the multi-list gallery to display the current paragraph as a multi-level list. Alrighty. Okay. Character format would be this guy right here. We're using some sort of symbols at each different level of our list. Okay. Like so. And we're going to increase the indent to push our list over 1/2 inch. Be consistent with the rest of our document. And I'm going to type in indoor team building activities and enter. Okay. Now I want to slide over to my next level of characters, and we would call this, we're going to use the increase indent. It's kind of backwards logic. We're going to use increase indent, but we're going to call this demoting. So we're moving down our level of bullets, or yeah, we're a multi-level list. So when I click up here on my paragraph group and click on increase indent, I'm demoting or moving down in my list level. Okay, so I'm going to type in board games and enter. Card games, enter. Pool table, we're talking about different activities here, and enter. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to push, and you know what? I messed up because I put that in the wrong place, didn't I? I'm just going to back up here, and you're like going, Reardon, what did you just do that for? I don't know, because I saw that team building activities, dining room building activities. I just got off there. So I'm going to come back here and kind of fix what I just did. Okay, because that's a little off. So I'm going to come back here and redo my list level. Sorry about that. It's all kind of live, right? And again, I'm going to do increase indent. Let's try that again. Indoor team building activities. Again, this is a learning opportunity. I typed it in the wrong place. I'm going to come back. So whenever I mess up on these demos, I'm like, okay, this is like what you would do in real life. Like, I made a mistake, right? So here I go with my demoted list level, or the next level down. Now I want to go back to, I want to promote or go back up to my top level of my multi-level list. All right. I can either hold down the Shift key and hit Tab. Be one way I could do that. Shift Tab. Or I can use the decrease indent or go backwards 1/2 inch. So decrease indent is actually the same as promoting or going up in my list level. Okay. Now you need access to the cheater text file. I'm going down to my workspace, which is probably going to be a little out of sight for you. I'm going to just pause here for a second, because I didn't have this file open, cheater text for chapter 4 demo lesson, and that text is way too small. All right, and I'm going to go grab all of this text down here, starting with outdoor, down through guide without the paragraph mark, and copy. Let's go back to my sales proposal where my insertion point is. Correct. I'm going to hit paste, Control V, and there is my multi-level list with all my text in it, with all my various activities. Wasn't that fun? Now, if you end up with an extra paragraph space down there, you might need to backspace that out if you have an extra line in there. Okay, there's my multi-level list. All right, and we're going to change a bullet item. I'm going to go up here to my first item up here, which is my first bullet item right there. Put my insertion point right in there. Okay, and I want to create like an artsy type option here. So I'm going to hit my drop down arrow and say define new bullet. Okay, and picture. I'm actually going to go to Bing image search. Hopefully this works. I'm going to look for abstract group interaction. Haven't done this in a while. Okay. And click the search button to display a list of pictures. Scroll through the list of pictures and click that strange looking picture. Not that one there. That one looks kind of weird. This one here might be more in line with what I'm looking for with the multicolors there. The blue and the purplish and the red. I'm going to select that and insert. Okay. And again, I'm changing. Again, like I said, you can use your favorite team name if you want to as a bullet. I'm changing what it's going to look like. In that case, I just selected it. I really didn't have to hit insert. I just selected it, and it became my new bullet. If you didn't quite get that the first time, you might want to practice that again. Again, going to picture and Bing image search and go find whatever bullet is you're trying to define. Now when I click OK, you can see that that new bullet, that bulleted item, is showing there. And by the way, you know what I did? I did my undo too far. Once again, learning opportunity, right? I eliminated my page break. You're probably wondering, Reardon, did you see you did that? Yes, I did. So I'm going to go back and do insert page break. And so now team building activities is now down on the next page. Okay, so we did that. Now we're on to page 6. All right. Just the insertion point in the paragraph containing the bullet you want to change, which is board games. Oh, goody. I want to change that too. I'm going to come down here to board games for my insertion point. Okay. Go up to your home tab and your bullets list. And we actually want to use the open circle to define. By the way, notice that live preview, if I put my mouse pointer in one of the bullet options, it shows me down below what my bulleted list, my multi-level list, is going to look like if I were to select that option. And I do that open circle like so, as a predefined bullet. Okay, let's go down to scenic through hunt. So here I'm going to come down and go, I want to rearrange some stuff here. So I'm going to actually highlight everything in this third list between scenic and hunt. All right. And up in my paragraph group, I want to sort that. And by the way, we're going to get into this in Excel. We're going to get into this in Microsoft Access. Sorting. Now you can do sort in Word as well. I'm going to hit the A to Z drop down arrow up there. I'm going to say, what do you want to do? I'm going to sort by paragraphs using text ascending, which means A to Z in the alphabet. All right. Pretty simple sort. We'll sort within tables too later on. Click OK. And now we've got, those are sorted alphabetically in order there. Okay, so now we're going to go find the available buildings. Table, that would be up here. And I'm going to put my mouse pointer between the first and second column. Now this is called Autofit, because right now we've got this big gap in our first column. And so again, we'll do this in Excel and Access as well. Put your mouse pointer between the first and second column so it becomes kind of a crosshair. Can you see how I have it like that? And then double click, and it makes that first column just a little bit wider than the widest entry in the first column. I'm going to go between the second and third columns. Okay. And it says I'm going to drag the boundary between the second and third columns to the left. So I'm actually going to shorten the width in the column here so that maximum capacity, see how it kind of wraps to a second line? I'm just going to even go even farther here. Okay, like so. So it wraps to a second line. Very nice. Okay. And I might do the same in the third row. Let's see here. I don't know if it even tells me to do that, but I'm going to do that anyway. Make daily rate. I could even just double click, couldn't I? Double click and do an auto fit. Okay. So there we go. We're adjusting the width of our table. So it's a little bit more readable if you like. And it says to select all the rows below the first row. So I'm going to put my mouse pointer here off to the left. Scroll down. Select everything but the first row. And by the way, I'm bottom left, page 6. I'm going to go to my Table Tools Layout tab. And I want to make the height of the rows a consistent 0.3. I'm going to hit the up arrow over here for height. And now they're all 0.3, like so. I'm going to go to the Table Tools Design tab. Under Table Styles, I'm going to hit More. And what are we looking for here? Second column, row 5. Column 2, row 5. Column 2, row 5. Grid 5, is that the one I'm looking for? Dark accent 1, there you go. Again, live preview shows me what that will look like if I were to select it. Like so. Okay. So now I've got a nice formatted table there. Be sure the remaining check marks match those in the table style options group. Header row, banded rows, first columns. These are all checked. So those formats will be applied to, using that predefined style, those formats will be applied to that particular table. Back to my Table Tools Layout tab. Select the leftmost column. Now when I select the leftmost column, I'm going to click off somewhere just for a second. I'm going to bring my mouse pointer from above and drag down like so. Okay. And then over here in my alignment group, again I've got vertical, top, middle, bottom. I've got horizontal, left, center, right. So there's 9 different options for horizontal and vertical spacing up here. And I'm going to do the align center left for that first column. Everything in the first column, align center left. That did something there. It says click on your table move handle. Again, this little box up here will select the entire table. So I'm going to click on my table move handle. It's asking me to center my table in the middle of the page. I can either come up here in my Home tab and do center, right? Or I can just do Control E and it'll center it in the page. And on my Table Tools Layout tab, it's asking me to sort. Okay, right on. That's over here in my data group. Sort, drop down arrow. And it's saying, oh, you want to sort by building. And notice it says header row, which means it recognizes that first word building as being an identifying field. We're going to get into fields a lot with Microsoft Access. And saying, okay, you want to sort by building. The data is in text. It's in paragraphs, kind of roughly speaking paragraphs. And ascending means we're going to do A to Z order. Yes, we are. And we're going to sort those. And now that table is sorted by building. And now I'm going to go to the last row of the table, like so. Okay. And I'm going to insert a row below it. right? I can already see that I missed a step here. You know what I forgot? I forgot align center right. Way back, upper left, page 7 is where I messed up. I'm going to bring my mouse pointer above column 2. Again, learning opportunity. I messed up. Bring my mouse pointer above column 2. Get that solid black arrow. Left click and hold. Let me try that again. Left click and hold. And then drag over to select both columns 2 and 3. And they were asking me to do align center right. And that's going to be over here. Vertically aligned in the middle, but horizontally aligned to the right. I hope that makes sense. Align center right. Align center right, like so. Okay. Now we're down. We inserted our row. We're all good to go. Right on. Okay. And then at the very bottom, we're going to say total entire site. Okay. And we're going to go down here to maximum capacity. And Word will actually do some math for us. Isn't that hard to believe? It'll actually do math. Yes, it will. Okay. And that's going to be over here in our formula, in our data group, formula. All right. It says, do you want to sum from above? Yes, I want to do that. But I want my format to be consistent with the rest of my stuff that I'm summing. So I'm going to come down here to my number format. I'm going to select the number format of pound sign. Don't understand the pound signs. Those are not hashtags, by the way. The pound signs represent, where numbers are going to go. And I was looking for the one that had negative numbers in parentheses, which in 2019 is probably there. In 2016, it is not. And you might have, actually, it's right here. Sorry about that. It's sitting right in front of me. Positive numbers here are going to show with 0.00 and looking like this. If it's negative, and by the way, that semicolon right there will separate the negative format from the positive format. And if you have a negative number, it will be in parentheses. This is like standard business lingo because you want negative numbers to really stand out. I'm going to click on that format like so. Except in this case, my numbers that I'm adding up do not have a decimal place. So I'm going to get rid of the 0.00. And same thing here, 0.00. And my maximum capacity actually does not have a dollar sign. So I'm going to backspace and take away that. So that's going to be my function, or my format of my formula. And there it adds it up as 625. Now if you didn't quite get that the first time, let's do it again. Formula. I'm going to select that pre-formatted. In this case it says daily rate, so I do want to total this. I'm going to come over here by my 0.00 and get rid of that. Come over here, backspace, 0.00. And I do want to have the dollar sign in my sum for the daily rate, and that totals $43.50. Okay, that was fun. All right. Let's see, click your insertion points somewhere in the table, which I'm going to do. Okay, and we're going to do something with something called cell margins. I'm going to come over here to cell margins. Allow spacing between cells. This is kind of an artsy thing you can do to kind of separate the lines in a table, just for artistic effect. I'm going to change the cell margins to 0.02. You're probably wondering, what in the world is he talking about? What's this all about? I'm going to click on OK, and you can see that how it's kind of expanded now between the lines between the cells. Okay, and so we did that, and my mouse pointer is still sitting there in my document. Right on. I'm going to go back to cell margins, and it says we're going to change the top and bottom boxes, change the values to 0.02. Top and bottom boxes, 0.02, 0.02. And the left and right arrows we're going to change to 0.1 and 0.1. So again, we're getting an artistic effect with the way we're changing our cell margins in our table. This is kind of like the advanced course, isn't it? Click OK. Ooh, okay. We're going to position the columns to be formatted, the second and third columns. Again, bring your mouse pointer above column 2 till you get a black arrow. Left click and hold. I drag down just a teeny bit. I dragged over to select those. And I'm going to come up here to my Distribute Columns button, which is going to make those two columns the same widths. That didn't really do much, did it? No. And do we have a blank paragraph mark below the columns table? I've got a whole bunch of extra space down here, don't I? So I'm going to come down here to my paragraph mark. Again, this is like live stuff here. I'm going to delete and delete and maybe even delete again so that team building activities is at the start of the next page. Okay. Now, one thing I would do in addition to what I have with this table is I've lost my Autofit on my first column. So I would bring my mouse pointer up between columns 1 and 2 and double click to Autofit so that text is all in one line. We don't really need the entries to be on separate lines. It gives our our table a nice, neat little fit there to it. Okay. Let's see, the additional fees table. I think that was down here. And we're going to come down here and we're going to go to our Table Tools Layout tab. I want to be able to see my grid lines. I'm going to come over here to my table group and click on View Grid Lines so I can kind of see what's going on there. There we go. So I can kind of see what's going on in the background. Let's see, top left cell, that's going to be up here. It looks like it's already split, is it not? Let's see here. Hold on a second here. Okay, I'm going to come up here. Fee-based options. And I want to take this particular cell and I want to split it into two cells. So I'm going to come up here and say, because as you can see right now it's one big long cell. It's going over two columns. So I'm going to come up here to, again, Table Tools Layout tab. Sorry if I go too fast here. Split cells. I want to split that cell into two columns and one row. And OK. All right. Very nice. But you can see this line down here on the second row doesn't match the first row. So I'm going to put my mouse pointer with the crosshair right on that dividing line on the first row that I split, that cell that I split. And then just drag over here to the right so I'm lined up with the second row. So I'm consistent. Okay. And I'm going to come up here and type in fee-based options. We've done a lot of learning on the fly here. All right. And I'm going to say I want to do a line left center. Is that already a line left center? It's a line center left. Line center left. That's what I meant to say. Yes. Okay. Press the tab key. And over here I'm going to say align center right. Vertically centered, horizontally right aligned. Okay. Align center right. And I'm going to do fee per, and then enter. I want to put this in the next line, fee per person as my column heading for that table. On to page 9. And I'm going to select all the rows below the column headings, put my white pointer off to the left margin, left click and hold, drag to select all of my lines. And you can see some of the spacing is a little inconsistent between those particular lines. I'm going to come up here to Distribute Rows in my Table Tools Layout tab. And what that does is it makes all my rows the same height. Okay. And put your mouse pointer somewhere in the first column, like so. I want to insert a new column over to the left. So I'm going to say up here in my rows and columns group, Table Tools Layout tab, insert left. I'm going to drop a column off to the left. Click off somewhere to remove that selection. Select the cells to merge, which in this case, the first and second column of the first row of the table. So that'd be right up here. I'm going to left click, drag through those two cells right there. Okay. Now I want to, instead of splitting the cells, I want to bring these cells back together into one big cell. Okay. So I'm going to say up here, I'm going to say merge cells. So now I have fee-based option is now spanned over two different cells. Okay. And I want to do align center left for that text. So it's centered there in the middle of that particular cell. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to come down here and using my white cross, I'm going to select those. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. Sorry. I did not want to do that. Just select the first 6 cells in that first column, like so. Okay. And I want to merge these. I'm going to go back up here and make those merge cells. What that means is I'm going to take those 6 cells and make them into one big giant cell, like so. Okay. And in that particular cell, I'm going to type in, oh, wait, excuse me, I need to merge again. Let's come down here and select the bottom 6 cells. Again, when I use the term cell, I'm referring to a block of data. We're going to use the word cell a lot in Microsoft Excel. All right. So again, cell means just a block of data with a column and a row. So I'm going to come back up here and type merge cells. So those 6 cells all became one big cell. All right. Come up here to my first block of cells, insertion point up there. I'm going to type in dining fees. Okay. And I actually want to turn this text on its side, so I'm going to say text direction. I'm going to click once, click twice, and I'm going to do align center up here, which is going to be right in the middle. And the second group of cells, I'm going to type in activity fees, and I'm going to say text direction, click once, click twice, just like I did before, and again align center. So those are in the middle. And I'm already on to page 10, and I'm going to hit save again, by the way. I haven't saved in a while. Let's do that. Hit save. Okay. The insertion point in the table, click the Autofit button. So insertion point somewhere in the table. And that again is on my Table Tools Layout tab, and Autofit is up here. I'm going to say Autofit Contents. So all of my contents get squeezed kind of down a little bit, right? To make it just wider than the widest entry in each column, correct? Position the insertion point in the column to format, in this case the minimum attendees. I'm going to change the width up here from 0.85 and click the up arrow. That's a lie. Run my mouse pointer through that. We're going to call that 0.95. Again, in Word, if you have something selected and you type over it, you just replace what was previously there. And you know what I just did? It looks like, let's try that again. Let's undo that. Let's come down from above and select the whole column, because I didn't get that first row in there for some reason. And now let's come back here and change my width to 0.95. Okay, 0.95. Very nice. Okay. Insert a row at the top of the table. Okay, I'm going to click on my very top row. I'm going to say insert above. Again, I'm just changing my mind. Oh, I meant to do something else here. And I want to merge that or make that one big long cell. I'm going to click on merge cells, and those 3 cells will become one. I'm going to click on my alignment of align center, and then I'm going to click right in the table up there, top row. I'm going to type in dining and team, whoops, and team building activity fees. Okay, and then make sure the text is selected. And I want to bold that, also known as Control B. Yes, okay. And Table Tools Design tab. Let's see, Table Tools Design tab. We're going to do some shading here. We're going to throw some shade at you. All right, okay. And for shading, I'm going to come down here. We're going to do that same orange accent 2. Except in this case, I'm going to do it lighter 60%, so it's not quite in your face. Orange accent 2, lighter 60%. And we're going to do the same thing for dining phase. Now it remembers the last shading that I used, so I don't have to reselect it. I can just go up here and just click on the previous shading that I used, and it applies that to the cell. Okay. And let's come back up here and apply that to the cell. Right on. Looks very nice. Okay. And let's go back to our title. And in my layout tab, I want to make that a height. I'm going to run my mouse pointer through that height of 0.25. Make that 0.34, a little bit wider. I can also, by the way, just put my mouse pointer in the bottom of that cell, left click and hold, and I can drag up and down to change the desired height of my table. On to page 11. If necessary, position the insertion point in a table cell, which I'm going to do. Okay. And on my layout tab, I'm going to go back and click on view grid lines, which I don't need anymore. And I'm still in the middle of my table, right? On the design tab, I'm going to go to borders down here on my borders group. Go down to borders and shading. And we are going to do all. We're going to select the first double line style. That looks like that guy right there. Very nice. Okay. I want to change that though. I want to put a little blue color in that. Is that blue accent 1 right there? Yes, it is. Okay, blue accent 1. My diagram is going to show me what that's going to look like when it's all said and done. I'm going to leave my width, or the weight of my line at 0.5 or half point, I should say. Half point on my table. Click OK. And then those grid lines then get, I shouldn't say grid lines, those divider lines, borders, get, they add a little bit of color or character to my table. I'm going to hit the save button again so I don't lose my document. Sales Proposal Awakenings. Let's go up to my View tab. I'm going to do multiple pages up here so that I can see the 3 pages in my document. And by the way, one thing along the line that I kind of lost, which is kind of a mystery to me, you'll notice that I lost in my authors area, I lost my text up here. I'm curious about that. Let's go again, before we do this last step here, let's go down and see if we can fix that. So if we go back to our author line, which we seem to have lost, let's try typing that in again and just see what happens. Kara Bates, Event Coordinator, 616-555-0122. And then down here I would type in Awakenings Lodge and Conference Center. Okay, and what does that do? Well, there it comes right back there. Kara Bates, Event Coordinator. So something happened when I inserted the retrospect header and footer. Somehow I lost my content control. Again, we're just going to learn it on the fly together here. If you're like freaking out like, man, Bird, you don't sound like you know what you're talking about. No, this is kind of the way things happen in Word sometimes. You kind of have to go back and fix things as you go along. And this is like real life stuff. Okay? Let's go back to our view of multiple pages. So I think we fixed that, didn't we? Okay. And Design tab, let's go to our watermark over here. Again, a watermark is just something that kind of works in the background. Maybe you don't have the final document. It's like a draft or something like that. I'm going to come up here to Custom Watermark. Okay. And it says, what do you want for a watermark? Well, I want to do a text watermark. I'm going to run my mouse pointer through ASAP. I'm going to type in team, like so. Okay. And it's going to be horizontal, so as opposed to diagonal. Horizontal. Okay. Text watermark option. There you go. We put the word team in there. Printed watermark. That looks good. Click on apply. And OK. And close. And there we have the word team in our document. Yay! Okay. And finally, of course, you want to do spelling and grammar, review. Spelling and grammar, you should always do this at the end of your document. Okay. And it says cedarwood. It says cedarwood should be two different words. But cedarwood is a proper name here that we're using for a building. I'm going to ignore all. Wilden is a special name that I'm going to say ignore all. The spelling and grammar check is complete. And we're done with our demo. And from here we would move on to the practice exam for Chapter 4. Thank you again. This has been kind of a fun little project creating a sales proposal in Word.